Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bunker Podcast. We are back again with another interview. Make sure to get all the admin stuff out of the way, drop a like and a subscribe on the video if you haven't already. But today we are joined by another very exciting guest. It's a pleasure to have him here. Hailing from West London, It is Awadh. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. How you doing, Joel? You right?
Dude.
Cool.
Yeah, good to have you on, bro. It's good to have you on. Obviously, I actually saw you live, interestingly, before I'd heard any of your stuff on Spotify, but feel very ingratiated at this point. I'm pretty excited about your project and what you've got going on. I guess to start with, take us for the viewers at home who maybe aren't as familiar with your come up or whatever. Talk me through your backstory. What was life like for you growing up, and what got you into music, and what started you on the journey with your music and this current project, I guess?
Yeah, man. I was like 6 years old when I started spending nights at my cousin's house and stuff. And compared to me, they lived on the harder side of the tracks. So like one day I've woken up and Murder by Kalashnikov was playing. And I was like, oh my God, what is this?
So it was like, that was kind of like, it ingratiated you with, you were kind of coming at it from an angle that I kind of was in a sense, because like the thing I love about hip hop is like, I love the art form and the lyrical craft, but one of the things I love most of all is like, getting a glimpse into a world that I don't fully understand. Yeah. So you were coming at it from that sense in a way.
Yeah, exactly. I remember feeling like it was the first epiphany I've ever had. Like I've looked at it and I've gone, oh, this is what you guys are doing. Like when the football pitch is closed, we've already had dinner. This is why you lot are going out. Okay, now I get it. And then the more you listen, the more I understood the culture that was like immediately around me. And I was oh, okay, this all makes more sense. And it was way more exciting than any music I'd heard up until then.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think it's the sort of theatrical nature of it, isn't it? Like the kind of, like you experience it in a different way to other music. It's almost like a film that you're sort of watching like play out in front of, I was going to say in front of your eyes, but it's more in front of your ears, isn't it? At that point. But so what was it about that kind of world in a sense that made you gravitate towards it? Because obviously I've had people who are have been in it almost, have been ingratiated in I want to kind of say the street culture, but I don't want to butcher the term, but as someone coming at it from the outside looking in, what was it about it that I suppose you related to, but also made you think I want to add something to this sort of rich cultural megalodon that's kind of pops up in the modern music industry, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was the competitive nature. We touched on this a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was the idea of I'm better than you because of these words that are coming out of my mouth. I was like, I can do that. I can talk. I was born doing that. Do you know what I mean? So I think the idea that it was so accessible was. It made it seem like it was for the people, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And the fact that it's always been the cool thing to do. It's always been the cool thing. It's not like singing where it's like, oh, well done. Rapping is like you can pull it out wherever, and it kind of
people go, oh, that's sick.
On some level, it impresses most people, yeah.
100%.
And I wanted to be a part of that, and I think in my own nature I'm deeply competitive anyway. I think I'm really competitive.
Yeah. So the competitive streak, that was kind of ingratiated in your character from young.
Yeah.
Were you because having spoken to you and stuff, I think you're very much like me in this sense. I sort of get that impression immediately that you're very, very articulate, very well spoken. Were you always that way inclined, and then you just kind of found this kind of art form that you were wow, I've already got this skill that I can amalgamate to this thing? Or was it more you see someone like you said, like Kalashnikov, someone like that, and think that I want to do that, and then built your skills from there, or how did it go?
It's a bit of both. It was a bit of both. I think, it was a bit of the way I was raised. Talking well was like an important thing. In a house with 3 languages as well, like it was very much encouraged to speak each one well, as opposed to just touch on it.
What were the languages?
Arabic, Swahili, and English.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So
Swahili's a gorgeous language.
Yeah. It is.
And I think like Arabic, I always find Arabic, like the alphabet, the Arabic alphabet is really cool. So obviously, like they write backwards, it's completely the other way. And like I always thought, like you read like Italian, German, like we all, even though it's a different language, we use the same alphabet. Stuff like Arabic, Russian, Mandarin Chinese, like. Like the rules completely go out the window. It's a totally different thing. So I imagine it's like harder for people learning a new language, learning Arabic. But if you've grown up with it like you have, then it's a pretty cool string to your bow that you can have, really.
Yeah, exactly. I can't speak Arabic or Swahili. I just understand
the omission going on here.
But it's with Arabic especially, you've got words that take whole sentences out of English or like away from it. Like you would use that word as opposed to saying the whole thing.
Sentence.
So it's another. What did my dad used to say? For every language you have, you're another person. Like you have another life. Like you can hold other secrets.
Okay. Like, do you want to touch a little bit more on that idea? I guess.
Yeah. If you have another language, you can take advantage of a whole other world. You don't have to be the English person in China. If you speak Chinese, you're one of them now, more or less.
Yeah.
Like, it's certainly more.
It's like buying into a culture.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know?
That's a really good way of saying it. Yeah. So there was that, and then in school there was a real turning point where it was like I was barely interested in any subjects apart from GCSE religious studies. That's when I went, whoa, what's this? This is huge. This is really important. And the exams were all like 2 hours per question, 50 marks a question. You had to write, and that made me go, I need to be able to do this better because there are points I want to make and I need to be able to make them properly.
See, I was always more of a history buff personally. A lot of I think that's because so my grandparents on my dad's side were quite sort of Orthodox Christian, very religious. I don't want to say religious fundamentalist, but they were into it. But it kind of made my dad and my uncle Richard kind of go the other way. So I didn't really have the. I didn't really come from a religious household, so maybe that's why I didn't maybe relate to it in a sense. And I think I understood the importance of those conversations, those sort of religious, sort of philosophical debates more as I got older. I guess in a sense. But yeah, so what was it? Was it because you came from a more sort of religious fundamentalist family that maybe appealed to you more as a subject at school, or was that what that was? Yeah,
exactly. It was very, very religious family, and me having basically always disagreed with it, but respected the fact that so many people agreed with it. There must be something I'm missing. So then to be able to study it and to become quite fluent was really, really helpful.
Okay, so you came at it more from the position of I want to know about this thing so I can so I'm sort of fully versed in the argument in a sense. So I can have the conversation and say this is where I agree and this is where I disagree have that sort of constructive dialogue with family and people around you.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it was a huge question, and as a child, it did make me feel guilty about stuff. It made me think, oh, maybe I'm seeing things wrong. Maybe I'm a bad guy, type of thing. And then the more you kind of understand the argument, the more you realize, oh no, wait, they haven't figured this out yet. Actually, that's more important, probably more important than whatever I'm going to think about it.
For sure.
Yeah, and then it just grew. Yeah, language became something I liked manipulating. And people go, you speak really well. I'm like, yeah, I try.
So initially it was more of a tool that you kind of use to sort of like engage in that conversation in a sense, but then it obviously with language, like you can use it in like so many facets of your life, and you sort of found putting it in your art form was how you wanted to use that talent in a sense.
Exactly. By the time I'd started like considering faith and stuff, I'd been making beats for a couple of years.
This is something I wanted to touch on, but yeah. Go on.
So I'd been making beats for like 2 years, but at that point it was still like I could get one session a week, and it was just beat making, so it was very slow. So like rapping hadn't even come to mind just yet.
It was something that came later on. Do you think like, that's actually segues me nicely into the next sort of topic that I wanted to touch on is in a sense with that. So like, obviously you're focusing more now on, like doing your music. It's not just the beats, it's the bars, it's the whole package, right? But like, do you think being someone who came from, doing a sort of production beats kind of background, when you did start like picking up a mic and experimenting with, rapping and stuff like that, did it make you sort of approach it from a different lens to someone who came up maybe just spitting the bars and didn't really have any knowledge of like instrumentation, beat making, this sort of stuff?
Not really. I don't think so. I think I had the advantage of making a beat suited for the topic, or having the lyrics first and then making a beat. You have that technical advantage, but outside of that, I don't think so. I think I still had to learn everything from scratch. Yeah, I think that answered the question.
Keep it concise.
Yeah.
No, I get that, dude. What was like? Like you started off doing the beat, and that's kind of something that you've translated and you kept with that, because you mentioned before you make all the beats to all of your songs. Do you enjoy that element of like having creative control over sort of every dimension of the craft of your art and your music and the craft in a sense? Do you like being really hands-on with everything in that way?
I do, but it's really difficult and I'm not used to it yet.
Okay.
If it's me and 5 musicians in a room, I'm probably going to want to hear everyone first and then put my idea in. Whereas a lot of the times, it should be me directing the show, and I'm not used to that yet. I'm not used to walking into a room and going, right, you do that, you do that, you do that. What I was thinking for you was X, Y, Z. There's a thing. I think I'm just too nice. I think I'm just too naive. I think
that very much comes across.
I've been trying to work on that and just trying to get more directive. The last time I worked with someone in the studio, shout out Olivier. That was quite good, but I think I maybe should have said more things.
Give a bit more coordination.
Yeah. I think I'm very very, very self-critical though. Also, so everything with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I think being self-critical is like I think it's useful. I think it's useful to an extent.
Yeah.
What's your engagement with that idea?
I push myself more than anyone ever pushes me. I probably encourage myself less than most people do. I've had to learn to like restrict critique. I can't treat everybody like I treat myself. I can't give myself a full breakdown of what went wrong and what went right, when all did was come off stage and go, how do you think I did? And I'm there like, okay, your left foot went first, it shouldn't have done that. Or do you know, you held the mic with the wrong hand. I've had to learn to be less critical of others, and then that helped me be less critical of myself.
I think that the dimension of like you push yourself further than anyone else is going to push you, I think that's the useful bit. That's the bit that you should hang on to. But then also like you've kind of got to have that. Especially in rap, it's like no, like, I'm the shit. I know that I'm good at what I'm good at in a sense, you know. And then like being able to, it's finding that balance, isn't it? It's like knowing when to pat yourself on the back as well, and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you've got to strike that balance with that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can hear a couple of different genres in your music that you've lifted inspiration from. One is the old school hip hop, the real rap artists like Jest and Akala come to mind when I'm listening to your flow, lyricism, that kind of stuff. but sonically, I see you take influence from a lot of like Persian style, like instrumentation and things of this nature.
Yeah.
That mostly in your vocal samples and that sort of thing. How did you come across the blend of those two sounds, and what is it about that amalgamation of those two genres that work for you, I guess?
So it was about a year and a half ago, maybe a touch more, where I'm driving along and I listened to this song and I was like, there's something about like the sound signature that just appeals to me. And then I started listening to more songs by the same band, Manos Gutierrez, the Gutierrez brothers.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Started listening to more of it and I was like, I think I get it. I think it's like how twangy and how clunky the sound can be, and then started making music to that effect, and I was like, oh, this really appeals to me. Why does this really appeal to me? Oh, because it sounds like the music that was in the car when I was a kid, when I was like young, and it's like, oh,
that's
all
crazy.
these back home Middle Eastern bangers and like orchestra, all big 50-piece orchestras.
Were your parents into any like Bollywood or anything like that?
No, not particularly. No. Arabic film and TV isn't really that big a deal. Like a couple of soap operas and stuff like that Mum would have on the TV.
Yeah.
But nothing that really sticks out to mind. Musically, it was huge in my house.
Yeah, so musically that was the whole like Persian style sound and sonics, that was like the thing in your household when you were growing up.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that like later on you made that kind of like that correlation with it in a sense that like, oh, the stuff that you had on in the car when you were a kid, that's the stuff that you would lift in bits and bobs of inspiration from that as an adult. Like, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously you've retained that on a sort of subconscious level in a sense.
Yeah. It was really cool to find out. It was a bit of like finding yourself. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of information.
For sure.
That happened. Like literally a couple months later, I'm on Instagram and like an advert comes up for Swana Records. So the label I'm working with now, Ali, the guy who runs it, is on the advert and he's like, our job is to mix Middle Eastern music with the Western ear, Western palette, Western sounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here I am.
I'm your
yeah. And I was like, this is too good. This is like this is almost by design. And then messaged him. I was like, yo, we should have a chat. This is a sound I've just come across. And then he was like, yeah, cool. Maybe a week and a bit later, we met up, and the rest was history. We've seen each other every week since putting this sound together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been really, really fun, and I couldn't have had a better stroke of luck. There was a whole producer ready for this sound.
Well, I think that's the thing with like labels and stuff. It's got to be like, it's got to be the right thing, because obviously like, you can have like a label that's just like, we're going to put your songs together and we're going to smash it out, whatever it is, which is like, that is cool, but then sometimes you want to be working with people who are like, no, we're on the same path and the same direction, and like, I think it depends on what kind of artist you are, and I feel like you're driving, it's quite a specific niche that you're driving at. So having a label that's like on the exact same wave is, I imagine that's perfect for you, really. Yeah,
it's proper useful.
Yeah, man. But talk to me about, so you mentioned that was kind of like the stuff that you touched on as like the stuff that you were listening to as like a little kid. Talk to me about who were some of those artists? Who were some of your like biggest inspirations from that kind of world? And who also on the other side of the coin were some of the rappers that you were listening to and taking influence from in that respect?
Dr. Dre and Jay Dilla are like my interchangeable best producer ever title. Oh
yeah, because obviously you're coming at it from more of like a production background, a beat making production background.
Yeah.
So like, I can't think of any producers who've had more influence to hip hop than Dre and Dilla, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it about those guys that made you really gravitate towards their stuff?
With Dr. Dre, as I was learning, this is in the early year, I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old, I'm figuring out, Dr. Dre's got this amazing ability to make my head go like this.
Oh God!
The head knocking thing is, I think, one of the coolest things you can give a listener.
For sure.
So that was something that made me go, this is wicked. When I was being hypercritical, it did feel a bit two-dimensional. 1 2 1 2 1 2 can get repetitive and a bit over simple.
Like you had a formula. Yeah. Work sort of thing.
Yeah, far be it from me to critique Dr. Dre, but I remember listening to him and going, it's sick, but
you wanted to put your own spin on it. Yeah,
and then listening to Jay Dilla and going, this sounds like a feeling. This sounds like an emotion. It doesn't necessarily.
It's the way he used his drum machine, wasn't it? Like he played it almost like an instrument, and sometimes he'd do it out of time, and it's like you look at it close, it's like no, he was doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
like there was programs that you could run with that where you could basically sync all of the like notes that you were playing in time, and he's like, no, switch that off.
Yeah,
I want it to sound like human, like emotional in a sense. I think it's like it depends what you like. If you want that because I think Dr. Dre's like a product of that. I think that's always been the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. Like East Coast, West Coast, it don't really exist anymore, does it? But that kind of like 90s wave of that. The East Coast was always more like lyrical. It's like this is about like the bars and the sort of, the most competitive element of it. Whereas the West Coast is all about the vibe.
Yeah.
It's about like, driving down the boulevard in your Cadillac wearing like your sunglasses and your Hawaiian shirt and like, there's a honey by your side and all of this stuff. And I think like Dr. Dre like encapsulates that so well. And I think that's why so many people, you look at like the stuff, not just his solo stuff, but the stuff he did for like Eminem, Kendrick, like oh my god. But then Dilla, obviously, I feel like that's more like hyper creative, really ambitious, like pushing the genre forward in a sense of the word.
Yeah.
And I think they're both like absolute goats, aren't they? I think it just depends what you like and what you gravitate to personally, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, getting into like your like personal music then, I feel like we've kind of covered a lot of like the backstory and what made you arrive at this point. In your single Double, that was from the live session, you performed that on the live session as well, so like keep an eye out for that one, people. The live session's sounding sick. But yeah, you use a lot of wordplay in that song relating to like Disney characters. Do you mind if I quote one of your lyrics back to you here? Is that, not stunning or anything, but, could have been a magic carpet ride with the damsel, but the monkey on my back told me to play the gamble. I'm Aladdin of diaspora, like it's a bad sequel. What was the inspiration behind, the Disney characters theme in that song? And, what are you pertaining to specifically with those bars? Because, it feels a bit more like you heard a song called Folding Clothes by J. Cole, where he's talking about doing laundry and these really mundane things, but it's not really about folding clothes. It's about being in love and how being with the right person makes you want to do all those find joy in those mundane things. I'm not saying it's quite exactly the same thing, but what I'm saying is it doesn't sound like it's really about Disney characters, that bar, if I'm along the right lines there. So yeah, if you could go into that a little bit, I'd be quite intrigued.
So that bar in particular was me saying this song could have been a love song, but I thought, let me tell you what I was actually thinking it should be. The Disney references were a way to describe and show off my really, really childish nature. And I think my childish nature is what protects my art. Ian McKellen said it, where he goes, he was asked, how do you chop and change between so many
Ian McKellen is in Magneto, is in Gandalf.
Magneto and Gandalf, yeah.
I've met Ian McKellen.
Oh, is it?
That's another story. I'll get on that before we... Nah, mate, that guy is crazy. He's a great dude, great guy. Yeah, but go on. Sorry, carry on with the story.
So he was asked in an interview how do you chop and change between roles so much, and his answer was remain childish, protect your inner child. A child plays with a thing until they figure out how to use it. That's the arts. You play with the role until you know how to play it. You play the instrument until you know how to play it. And I think I've always done a pretty good job of staying childish. I don't think it was that difficult.
Yeah, I think like I feel like I'm a bit of a big kid in a lot of ways. Yeah, no, I think he's good to be childlike as long as like it. Yeah, like being childish, that's like a different dimension. But I think being childlike and holding on to that kind of childish wonder, I think that is like a good thing because you kind of throw yourself into whatever you're doing with this kind of like wide-eyed sort of open curiosity and like that. I think you get the best out of yourself. So the chorus on Double, that's super catchy. You had everyone singing along to it when you performed it live. And one of the lyrics towards the back end of that hook is double down on my advice and listen up when I speak. What are you trying to get across with that lyric right there?
Stay childish.
Plays into that idea again, yeah.
It's that same theme. It's kind of my bottom line on that bit of advice. You should follow it. I think everyone could do a bit of like childlikeness, innocence, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're kind of saying like, this is my outlook on the world, and like I'm doubling down on this in a sense. And anybody who like thinks this isn't the way to go, then like you're not listening to me properly. You're not hearing me out. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit more about the follow-up single, Floose and Floss. Another of your lyrics goes, I don't like time wasted, too impatient. I once yelled at the clock until the clock caved in. That made me laugh when I heard that. I thought that was a good one. What's the story behind that lyric right there?
Music being my passion. I don't know if you have this or anything else to do mention, but like if I sit down in front of the computer, I won't fall asleep. I'll be at the desk working until the song's done, or I've gone, do you know what, I've got that thing to do tomorrow at 7 a.m. I should probably get some sleep.
You sort of like an obsessive creative in a sense.
Yeah, I have that thing where I can't put it down. If I'm using if I'm making other things put me to sleep that I'm like really passionate about. But that doesn't. I fall asleep watching movies all the time, but I love films. But music, I can't. It feels like a coffee rush.
Yeah. Like that is, there's kind of an adrenaline to doing it. Like trying to find that like I'm not going to bed until I found this perfect sound, this perfect idea. Like, yeah. What?
Loosely inspired by that Skepta bar. What was it? The speakers yawned. That was really cool. Yeah, that was a cool line.
I think it's hard not to be coming up as like a rapper in the UK and not be influenced by Skepta on some level. Like he is. And JME as well, like I think like, he's kind of like the other side of that coin, isn't he? Where he's like, like he's like the underground boy, and then Skepta's the one who's kind of, he's done songs with ASAP Rocky. He's kind of like shipping the sound out to the world in a sense. Like, you got a favourite Skepta tune, album, anything like that?
It was either Konnichiwa or the one that came after, and I can't remember the name really badly. The one that had all the negative pictures. It had like 9 pictures, and they were all like in.
Yeah. That one. From a bullet from a gun, it burns.
It might. Yeah.
That like, I do love that album, and I think that tune's definitely a highlight on there. But there was something about Konnichiwa that just like tapped into that cultural zeitgeist at the time, and like,
captured the moment, captured something we all felt, captured a bit of pride. I think we all felt. If you're a fan of UK rap and grime and stuff, you appreciated it whether you liked him or not.
Because the way I've always seen it is like, I suppose there's quite a relevant conversation at the minute with the whole, what was it? It was the Skepta Joyner Lucas thing, like UK versus US. That, it kind of a bit of a wet fart in the end, weren't it? It didn't really it weren't as exciting as we kind of, were hyped they were going to be. But, with that kind of conversation, like, and it's a bit of a shame because I feel like over here we're the only ones really having this conversation. It's like, do you prefer like British stuff or US stuff? But like, I never really looked at it. I don't know how you looked at it, but I never really looked at it like that. I always kind of saw it as like, it's almost like two separate leagues. Like, you like football, don't you? It's like the Premier League and Serie A, or the Bundesliga. It's two different divisions.
Yeah.
I kind of see the American league as its own league and its own thing, and then we've got like our own little league going on here. And we don't need their league to justify the existence of our league. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, but then you still got things like Champions League and like the FIFA Club World Cup, and those things are super interesting and they get really fun to watch because these people that don't normally pit against each other could.
Yeah. I can't, like, the whole like Joyner Lucas like Skepta thing. That did feel more like a Club World Cup thing. I kind of want people to take like the British rap scene as like seriously enough to the point where like you could consider it like kind of more like the Champions League or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But like like it was what that was. I think it was an interesting exhibition to kind of see how like our best goes up against like one of their best.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was the this is interesting. Let's kind of see what happens here, sort of thing.
On the topic of us versus them, I remember being a kid and like telling people I like hip hop, and them going, "Do you mean like American or UK?" Like when I
what does it matter? It's all just hip hop, man. Like,
but it was something that begged the question UK versus US. So from young, I was always asking, or always asked, or it was always in the conversation was UK versus US, and we were always losing up until basically really recently, I think.
Then I think more of a talking point.
Yeah. And I think at the moment Skepta had that all popping off, I was definitely like, no, we're winning. We're definitely winning right now.
Yeah, I think that's because like, I think the reason why I've always like, it's one of those. I think I listen to UK rap for different reasons to what I'd listen to American rap. With American rap, it's like, you know, like you could, because like the beauty of the American scene is like you'll have a new guy popping up every week, and it's like it's such a, you know, because their population is something like 300 million people, where it's a lot more than ours.
Yeah.
So like they've got that like abundance of like there's just like it's really flourishing. There's a new artist every week. That's really cool. But I think the reason I really like listening to like British rap is like I think it's just more like relative to our experiences here. And it's like it's more authentic to like our experiences and what we've sort of grown up in, and the world that we come from on a fundamental basis.
Yeah.
I think I relate to it more, and also like it does sound a bit more gritty and aggressive sometimes, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a thing to be said of relatability. When a person's speaking from where you're speaking from, you're gonna like it more. It makes a lot of sense. And the other thing is, off camera we spoke briefly in it about like the beauty of hip hop's start and how a lot of stuff wasn't recorded. Like we were feeling the same thing when UK hip hop was super gritty, and when it was first coming out, we had that same experience. It's just it was 21st century, and a version had already come, so it's like, but yeah, that grittiness.
Like in America, it was like battle rap on the block in the like late 70s, early 80s. To us, it was very much like pirate radio. The pirate radio culture of like sort of 2000, 2001. It's like, you're in like your mate's mum's kitchen, and like there's like 8 of you in a room. You've got a mic, you've got some like illegal transmitter or whatever on the roof, and like some guy can spit a verse and say like, or you can like spit a verse, and then the next guy who comes on the mic say that verse was shit and like annihilate you. By the time that mic comes around, you've got to say something back to that guy, and it's like, this is like, there's nothing else like this. There's nothing else like this in the world,
Yeah. I missed that era, but I did go to a pirate radio station for the first time like 2 months ago.
How was that?
That was an experience. No offense, but it was above a garage. And
there's an irony to that. Was it literally like people just do nothing? Like,
no, I can't say that because there was only one guy in the room, so I'd definitely be talking about him. But it was very. you needed to know a guy to get in. You didn't just need the key. In and amongst a maze of places.
Because it's like, I imagine it wouldn't be that difficult to like get like a radio license these days, or even just do like live streaming on Twitch or whatever it might be. But like, it kind of beats the objective. No, like, we want it to be illegal because like it's about the culture, man. You know. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about the upcoming single that you have. What was the title of that again?
Tango.
Okay, like the drink.
Yeah, like the drink, but the dance specifically.
Oh, of course.
This was a reference to the dance.
With the Strictly Come Dancing being back on the TV.
Yeah, timely.
We'll play a little snippet of that on screen now. So you can get a little taste for that.
Carrying the flame, and I came in with the angle. Married to the game, but the sex sales are ample. I was in a state, but it takes two to tango. I'm vexed how all of these clowns wanna hang with us. I gets down with all these sounds. I'm polyamorous, but in our house, you can't be found. You don't hang with us, you're a letdown. Feels like you've forgotten your plans for us. Your deaf ears, selective hearing's kicked in again. I'm left with this pensive feeling, feel it's belittling. When stress gives, the next thing's feeling my guard slipping. And you asking what's wrong, and I tell it like it is again. I'd void the filter like I poured a drink to the liver. Then I'd point the finger for I'd properly consider how your voice quivered when the boy hit you with the oi. If you don't fix it, I'ma have to go and find a fix of this love, pretty as a picture. Bars picked up on a Richter, and I won't stop, cause who I'm on about is hip hop. Yeah. Carrying the flame, and I came in with the angle. Married to the game, but the sex sales are ample. I was in a state, but it takes two to tango. I wasn't ready.
But tell me a little bit about that tune and the formation of that, and what you're trying to get across with that song that's coming out.
It was a bit of a flex, man. It was a bit of me being almost obnoxious or something to that effect. But have you heard that song "I Used to Love Her" by Common?
Of course, where like you think it's about a woman, and it says that he's talking about like hip hop, the genre in and of itself.
And then Kanye did the same thing with Homecoming. So this was my take on that idea. In this version, hip hop's upset me.
Expand on that idea, please.
In this version, me and hip hop are in a polyamorous relationship. There's other people involved.
Wait, sir. This is very cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna run with this. So, like, other people being involved, is that like
other genres?
I get it. Right. Okay. Yeah.
And it becomes me being disgruntled and upset with the fact that I'm not being attended to enough. The hardcore hip hop, like almost where it started type guy.
Yeah. Like you're kind of upset with like the direction it's going in a sense.
The fact that everything that's put out and successful is hip hop plus something. It's not just hip hop. It's a rapper on Afro beats. It's a something.
Yeah.
There's a sub. As we
love artists like J Hus and Parcel, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, shout out to hundreds.
But it's genre blending. Yeah.
And we just haven't had anything more standard since what? So Solid Crew.
What in the UK?
Yeah.
Real, but because
I'm wrong. Yeah, sorry, I'm wrong. Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I was wrong by saying So Solid Crew.
Maybe not the best example.
Yeah.
I'm just that like really lyrical, because obviously you've had like Kano, but again that's going back like he's been around 20 years. Like Skepta, JME, that kind of stuff. But then there's the whole like drill wave, isn't there? I think drill's like, I love drill music. I think drill music is like fascinating. But is that one of those things that you consider like a sort of something that's blending genres in a sense, or what are your thoughts on that whole wave?
I don't think it blended genres. I think it's its own subgenre. It's just a bit overcooked now, man. Go on. Yeah, it's just a bit of. It's just a bit. I've heard it too much now. Can we move on to the next thing? And then
I get that.
I started feeling that like 2 or 3 years ago, and then what I felt started happening was like. noughties hip hop, like Dipset type music started coming back again. You heard Digga D with like a 50 Cent remix. 50 Cent is still touring. Like, you know, true. So like, it felt like, oh, we seem to have come to the end of drill but found nothing, so we've gone back a step.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I wanted to do a song like that as well, and I think Floose kind of was that song for me, a bit noughties inspired.
For sure.
But yeah, that was quite a thing to me. It felt like, oh, we don't have... Hip-hop doesn't have a sound at the moment.
No, well, certainly not. What did you think of Joey Badass's latest record? Because he always comes with that, like, you know... like, I mean, he does, like, you know, experiment, like, musically, but I feel like he does stay true to that sort of, like, East Coast boom bap, real rap kind of style.
I love Joey. I haven't heard this new project.
It's good, man. It's hard. It's really worth a listen. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen Joey Badass in Manchester. Actually. Yeah. Like one of the best gigs I've been to personally. He was fucking sick. He was great. But like I think he's one of those that's kind of sort of like a bastion for that kind of old school sound and that old school style in a way.
Definitely.
But it's not something that everybody does, or it's not something that feels like everybody can do.
No,
in a sense, like look at like I suppose we're getting more into like American stuff here, but someone like Kodak, for example, like again, like really enjoy a lot of Kodak's music. I can put him on the car. It's like really, you know, it's really good to listen to. But like it would be ignorant to say that like he could do the same thing as what Joey Badass can do, for example.
Yeah. Agreed.
With going back to the song that you were talking about, Tango, is that one of the messages that's kind of layered in there in a sense? Are you saying that like we need more people like Joey, more of that real rap kind of stuff?
No, I don't think so. I think I was just saying it's disappointing to be treated as such. That's all. Yeah.
Oh right, like what, the that kind of world to be treated as, you know, like, oh, we've kind of moved on from this, when like that's the sort of core essence of why people fell in love with it in the first place.
Yeah, that notion is disappointing. I didn't go as far as to say we need more of it.
You're not trying to shit on other artists. That's not what you're trying to do with the song. Not
at all. No. It's me wishing energies were a bit more balanced.
Yeah. I think there's a Kendrick lyric where he talks about like it was all about lyrical talent and Killer Mike could be platinum.
Yeah, which is so true.
Yeah. That kind of notion. That's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, 100%. No, I think it's like, I do feel as though like the problem with it is like, because I feel like you and me are very much like. You're a bit of a hip hop nerd, aren't you? I can tell by talking to you, and I say that from a place of love. Like I'm also a hip hop nerd. I'm in this world, man. We're the same, and like I think people like us are always going to be gravitated towards that, like, you know, the art being, presented in its sort of purest form in a sense. But you've got to remember, like your average consumer, your average listener, is just listening to what sounds good and what they can sort of play in the car. Yeah. And that's fine. There's like nothing wrong with that. But I get what you're talking about. Like it does create this kind of vacuum of like, like you described, like a sort of lack of appreciation for, you know, the stuff that people like you and me would consider like this is the reason why we fell in love with this thing.
Yeah. The fact that other people can't experience it the way we did will always feel a bit sad. Yeah, I think so. Touching your last point.
But that's kind of like that's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately. But it doesn't mean you can't make, you know, your art and your music where you sort of encapsulate that kind of ideology towards it, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can get your message across in that way.
Yeah, I've always been out for the crown. I'm not here to sell all the records in the world. I want to be the best rapper I can be, and basically the best rapper.
Yeah.
that was like from dot. That was the intention. I always understood hip hop doesn't make you that much money. Music doesn't. Well, hip hop can make you money, but like it's not a guaranteed thing. It's not worth getting into this for the money. You'll be here ages if that's the case.
Another little like football analogy here, but it's like they always say like when you're at school, every young kid wants to grow up to be a professional footballer.
Yeah.
Every single one, or every young boy at least, wants to grow up to be a professional footballer. Then you've got the kids that are like in, school team, academy, these things. It's the 1% of that when they leave school at 16 that actually get taken on to the next level of under 18s, right? From those under 18s, it's the 1% of them that will go on and make it like professional, not even Premier League, but like League One, League Two, right? It's the 1% of those people that then get to the privilege of playing one day in Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga, right? The top leagues. 1% of that gets to play in the Champions League. From there, it's the 1% of that actually get to represent their country on an international level. Then it's the 1% of that get to represent their country at a World Cup or a Euros or whatever. And then it's the 1% of that actually get to win something in their career, right? Yeah. It's like, it's the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. And it's kind of, it's shit because it's like, one dimension of it is shit because it doesn't, what's the word? Like, there is an element of like gatekeeping to it, but then also there's a dimension like it kind of has to be that way because it's about excellence and it's about who's the best in a way. And I think like it's not exactly the same, but I think not just rap music, but music in general kind of works that way, doesn't it? Like it is generally going to be like the 1% of the 1% that like we'll actually go on to make like millions of dollars and get all of these crazy record deals that you hear about and that type of thing. But like ultimately that kind of stuff is a little bit superficial. It's a little bit like if you've got your fan base who rock with you, and I think that's maybe like the difference between like sports and music, isn't it? Like music, it's more like like you might not have like the biggest record deal in the world, but what you can have is, especially nowadays, so again, like cool, think about like our parents' generation, it was like, what records are in the record shop, we're going to buy that, it's like what's on, Top of the Pops or what's on the radio or whatever, and we make our little mixtapes, and there is a beauty to that, but it was kind of a closed circuit, like everyone's listening to kind of the same things, really. Yeah. Whereas nowadays, anyone can like make a song, put it on Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever, and you will curate an audience who'll go like, no, this, like you can curate your audience of die-hard fans who are going to be like, no, like Awadh's, like this guy's the best, this guy's the shit. Yeah. And, like they will ride with you to like the ends of the earth. Yeah. And that's really beautiful. That's really cool. And it's like, yeah, man, that's a fucking cool thing that we've got that these days. And like, like you don't necessarily need the best record deal in the world to have like a wave. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really nice. I've only been performing live since like November.
For real?
Yeah. I've only done.
Fuck me! Like, honestly, I thought that like when I saw you live, you seemed like a seasoned pro. No, like when I saw you live though, bro, like I fully thought that like this guy's a seasoned pro. He's been doing it for years.
Appreciate it. Thank you. No, so obviously been making music for like years, like 10, 11 years ago, I did like a handful of shows and then realized my music wasn't quite ready to be on stage. I had like a minute long emotional pauses. Like I'm having to rap in between.
So you had to like curate that kind of the sort of performance element of your stuff.
Working on that, life got in the way, kind of stepped away from music, came back. And then having now being an adult who's had like a bit of a career, it's normal for me to do like an assembly at the day job. Like public speaking is a bit more normal now. So like being on stage.
That's so interesting that like that has helped you with the creative side as well. That's fascinating.
Working at a school feels like all eyes on you. So my last job, I was a home inspector. So I would just drive from house to house to house. So like nobody saw me. And then to go to like a building with 1,500 people. It was like a bit whoa. So, but picked up the skill. But like picked up networking and conversation skills, and like being on stage is like, I'm just facing you guys. There's nothing difficult about this. It's just that if we were stood like that, all looking that way, no one would be nervous. But because I'm looking at you, it's fine. I can talk in front of people. So and throwing myself into it was another thing. Like knowing I wasn't going to be comfortable, knowing that even as good as I get at performing, it's not my favorite part of the process. I
was going to say, do you like performing?
Not particularly.
That's so interesting.
It's as fun as playing five-a-side for an hour. It's wicked. I'm with my mates, but it doesn't really mean anything.
That's mad, because like a lot of artists I have through, I can't lie, like obviously being in the studio, curating that sound is like, putting together their sort of creative vision. That's like a beautiful thing. But like the sort of fun element to most people with this is like actually getting to perform live and like taking it out to like the world and the people. Whereas like you seem a little bit more 50-50 on that, which is quite interesting. Go on.
I'm just not. I don't think I'm as extroverted as I come across. I think I like a quiet night in, and sometimes
more of a pizza, watch a film kind of guy.
Write a song, play some drums around the fire, that kind of thing.
Were you ever into like the club scene, the rave scene, that sort of thing?
Hardly been clubbing my whole life, like 20 times tops, like not much at all. Just didn't care for it.
But to me, I mean, these are quite a life, you know.
Yeah.
I think I got kind of what's the word? See, the thing is with me now, like I'll go on nights out with like friends and stuff, because I'm like we were talking about this. I'm not drinking. I'm sober at the minute. I'm living like clean and healthy. Not that makes me better than anyone else. I'm not fucking but it's like I arrived at it without going too much into all this again. But I arrived at it from a point of like I'm ruining my body, so I need to stop. I'm losing my mind a bit and my health, so I need to do this at this point. But like, I'll go out with friends and like, I'm the one who's like not drinking. I'm there with like a pint of Coke or an orange juice, and it's a bit like part of me was like, oh, you don't need to have a drink to have a good night out. But I must admit, since I stopped, like drinking, smoking, doing drugs, it was like, I think I value like we were saying, like pizza, film, chill night in. I very much like my own company now as like a 27-year-old man. Yeah. Like I must admit, it's a bit less glamorous now. I don't glorify it in the same way, and I can be just as, if not more happy doing that, having a chill one, than I can be like. The reason I go out for a night out now is like it's the social element. It's like being around my friends. I want to feel a part of it still, but like, and like there's some. The good thing is I've got some friends as well who are like on the same sort of path as me, but like also some friends who are very much still in that world of like, getting fucked up. And like it's all good. I got love for these people. I'm not again saying it from a place of like I'm better than anyone else or anything like that, but like I feel like I just kind of want to be around my friends at this point, and that's the reason why I do it. It's not like oh, we're gonna get absolutely like wankered or anything like this, so I think you engage with it on a different level as you get older, is what I'm trying to say. Is that something you relate to?
Yeah, I think as I got older, maybe not. I was going to say what I resonated with a lot of what you just said is getting used to your own company, and
for sure,
and growing into that. That was something I think I've just finished doing. I think I'm now used to my own company. But for me, with clubbing and partying and stuff like that, it was a bit superficial. One time oh my God, dude, one time I walked into a club and it was sweltering in there. It was underground. And there's a dude with the biggest fur jacket you've ever seen.
What are you doing?
It was making me itchy to like look at him. Do you know what I mean? It was making me hot.
Nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah. And his sunglasses. We're underground.
Idiocy, isn't it? And then, like, seeing stuff like that is like, it's all about the image. It's about flexing your new coat. It's not actually about having a good time or any of these things, you know?
Yeah.
2 questions off the back of this. Have you got siblings?
Yeah.
How many siblings have you got?
9.
See, like, I'm an only child. Like, you can't see him, but Chris in the background here, like, he's an only child as well. Like, so, like, going back to that idea of your
I would not have guessed. Absolutely would not have guessed.
Well, yeah, it's like we're not homogeny. We've all got, like, you know, we've all got different temperaments and things like that. I think it's because, like, my mum and dad are quite chatty people, so it sort of resonated with me.
Right.
Like, you know, I think as much as, like, you know, I had my extroverted phase, and now I'm like getting back into, you know, really appreciating my own company and my own space. More importantly, like that is something that, like, I suppose I have grown into it in a sense, but also, like, it also, being an only child, it also feels like a sort of natural state of being. Whereas, like, you're on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, you've got loads of siblings. That's like a completely different life experience that, like, you know, I've never had or could never really possibly relate to, and vice versa as well. So I imagine, like, growing up with 9. So are you one of 10?
Yeah.
Fuck. I imagine, like, growing up in your household, like, getting a minute to yourself was like, it just weren't happening. Do you know what I mean? So, like, as you get a bit older, you're like, it's something you more discovered as you got older, rather than it being a more natural state of being, as I was describing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, growing up, I was hardly ever alone. I think it might even be fair to say, man, barely ever, and definitely not by design. If it wasn't school or at home, it was the football pitch. And that's not alone, innit? So, going back to, like, 13, 14, 15 years old, being in the studio for like a couple of hours on my own was like
really nice.
It was a bit, it felt, like a proper highlight of my week, a proper look forward to it. Yeah,
man, that's beautiful. So your music thus far sounds very upbeat, very positive. Do your listeners, like, obviously I presume that they have a good time listening to your music, but is there like a darker subject matter? Is touching on sort of a darker subject matter something that interests you? I know the last tune that we did for the live session, like, you were touching on more like darker subject matter in that song. I just, you know, I'd not heard that tune before today, so it wasn't something that, you know, I was aware of. So I presume that's an avenue that you're in, you know, sort of enthusiastic about exploring as well, I guess.
I approach songs and song topics almost in the same way, where it's like I'll consider what I haven't written about recently and try and touch on that. If something in particular is like pulling me, then we'll go with that. But if I'm just like at a blank drawing board and not particularly inspired, it will be what have I not written about most recently.
For sure.
So like Slow Dance I hadn't had anything like romantic sounding, even though in the end the writing became something super dark. That was kind of just the nature of the song. I didn't want to stop.
You kind of go where the ducks fly, in a sense. You kind of go wherever it takes you, like. Yeah, like, so you don't really do that thing of like, I'm going to consciously make a song about this. No. Yeah, you kind of allow it to manifest however it's going to manifest.
In my thinking of I'm trying to get to the crown, I'm trying to prove I'm the best. It's not really about what I'm thinking in the moment. What's more important is being able to flex on all of these topics that are really synonymous with hip hop. And like, if you can cover that base, you're that much stronger an artist.
Oh God, for sure, yeah.
That's the approach I take. So like, dark or light isn't really the question I come from. But sometimes there's a topic that's dark, and I've made 3 dark songs before that. It won't stop me making another one, as long as what I'm actually rapping it for is new and fresher.
Oh God, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that was quite a comprehensive answer, actually. Like, it sort of actually brings me on to another thing. Like, because you talked about touching on lots of different subject matter, right? Do you try and make like a song for this group of people, a song for this group of people, a song for this crowd? Like, try and make a song for everyone, or are you more in kin of the thinking where it's like if you try and please everyone, you end up pleasing nobody at all? Like, what's your mentality in that?
I'm more akin with the second thought. I'm more akin with if you try and please everyone, you'll please nobody. But I think I try and make songs that capture different energies when listened to. So it's not for different people, it's people who like my music and want to feel this way or that way.
For sure.
Way and that, yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah. So it's like what's the word? It's kind of like there's the hook in there, like you described, like people, like people are either going to like it or they don't. Like, you only really care about the people who are going to like it. There's the hook there for those people. But once those people are in, that's where it's like, okay, I'm talking about this idea and that idea, and like within that kind of like bracket, I guess. Like, there's different elements and different ways people can engage with it within that. I'm a
multifaceted person. Like, I don't like clubbing, but I'll go to a party. I'm not the most political person, but I will speak on politics when I have something worth saying. And I think that's true for everyone. Everyone's a little bit of something.
Yeah.
So if you went your whole like music career and you didn't rap about a certain topic, I can only assume you never thought of it. I hope it's a very small topic. I hope it's insects. Do you know what I mean? Something nothing. Yeah.
It's like the smallest insect, and like you could all like. Again, that's the beauty of art, isn't it? Like, you can sort of like zoom in the microscope and focus on like the smallest insect, or you can like zoom out and talk about like the biggest world shifting issue. Yeah. It just it depends entirely on what direction you want to take it, I suppose.
Yeah. As I remember being quite young and like trying to describe my sound or like think about it, and I was always like, I want to sound important.
Yeah.
You can, two people can rap near enough the same verse or the same topic, and one of them sounds like what they're saying is important. Whether it's who's good at doing this? Joe Budden.
Yeah.
He's always rapping about his ex. It's not important, but it sounds crazy important, because he's got that wicked voice for it. Important was a key word. Important topics.
But and that idea of importance is relative as well. So like, what might be important to you, like, might not be important to somebody else. But then there'll be a listener out there who's like, this is important to me. He's resonating with me about this on this level, and therefore I'm going to listen to more of his tunes or whatnot, And for that other person, there'll be another artist who's talking about what they care about.
Yeah.
And
then having fun.
Beautiful thing, man.
And then having fun with like talking about something really important, like remaining and protecting your childishness by using Disney references. Super fun to me.
Yeah,
really fun.
It's like addressing something complex in quite a light-hearted way.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of encapsulates your sort of philosophy towards it in a sense?
Since I started working with Swana, the record label, one of the big challenges was like, okay, going forward, I need to like incorporate my humor into the music a bit more, because humor's really hard to get into rap, man. It is really hard
to get into it, but then also like some of my favourite rappers are rappers who know how to be really funny on a song. So like Eminem's really good at it. Like some of the stuff he said is like, oh my god, that's like hilarious, But like that's a whole like that's a whole art form that's a whole other dimension to the art form in and of itself, I suppose.
Yeah, and drawing the line between like rapper and comedy rapper, because that's like a new thing. Since I started rapping, that's like a whole thing, which is quite cool.
People like Young Gravy and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember when Doc Brown first come out? That was quite cool,
Doc
man.
Brown, like the cup of tea, and like the whole sky is racist and all that stuff. I love Doc Brown, man. He's awesome.
Super impressive.
Yeah, man. Any chance you'd be able to tell the folks at home anything about your upcoming projects or any of the releases you have coming up in the pipeline for them to look out for?
Yeah, 2609. So that's like coming Friday. Tango's going to be out.
That's like the main one. That's,
yeah. Box Park Shoreditch, 5th of October. That should be fun. Unconfirmed. I probably shouldn't say. It's fine.
If you are wrong,
I'm probably gonna.
Yeah.
I'll send a message to the bunker. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. Man, I got a release every month until like the middle of next year.
Are these just singles, or are you curating towards a bigger project like an album?
Singles. Haven't started really considering anything bigger just yet. I don't think it's something I can't do. I haven't had a solid idea for it, and I'm having fun just dropping singles.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it kind of like it keeps that. It's good for that sort of like consistency and like you described, like, you know, just maintaining that audience and that sort of stuff. It's really good for that, and like you can just put songs out as and when you get them done, and you're not really thinking about this like broader concept or whatever. When it does come to like album time, like what kind of like. Obviously, like, the main focus is the singles at the moment, but when it comes to album time, like, what kind of thing will you be going for, like, just on a sort of rough conceptual basis, do you think?
Something conceptual, something with a theme running through, something with consistent sounds. It won't be like a hodgepodge of genres and stuff like that.
You very much want it to be one thing.
Yeah, I like the idea of short albums, like 8 to 10 songs. I think that's, if you can do that really well, that's super impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like I do love like a long album as well that you can really just like, you know, immerse yourself into. Some of the best albums are shorter albums. I look at like 17 by X. That's only like 22 minutes. One of those gorgeous pieces of music you'll ever listen to in your life.
Yeah.
It's like, I think doing a shorter album sometimes is like, it's fucking cool because it retains that kind of. It's got that replay value. It hooks you in, you know. Like people don't get bored of it, you know.
Yeah. More immediately, I'm working on an acoustic song that's been fun to write.
Acoustic in what sense?
Acoustic, a guitar with one line. So he's do.
Is this like you playing the guitar?
No, it's Ali, my producer.
Okay, yeah. It's
I
like,
can't play anything.
No, that's all right. No, it's like you've got your strengths. I was gonna say, like, is doing something with live instrumentation, is that something that interests you?
Yeah, in a one-on-one sort of sense. So like rapping to an acoustic guitar seemed fun to me, and like there's loads of classic songs like that, so I wanted one.
For sure.
If I'm thinking about instruments particularly, and I'm thinking outside of beat making, then that conversation gets a bit complicated. But I would love to like have maybe like a series of raps where it's just me and one instrument, like no drums. It might be a guy on the bass going dum 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 dum, something that I can.
Something simple.
Yeah, the difficulty with rapping to an acoustic guitar was there was no reason for me to say anything or to have a particular flow in one way or another because there's no music there. It's just the thing.
Yeah, you kind of got to like
make your own ladder and then climb it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish. Really.
So figuring that out made me go, oh, what other instruments? Like, what would be really hard to rap to? And there are some instruments that I just love. So like a bass. Do you know what a handpan is? It looks like spaceships. It looks like a spaceship.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of those.
My buddy Mark just got gifted one of those for his
wow.
birthday. Yeah, very cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool.
He does because he's a drummer, but he also does like he's been gifted that to like have a mess around with. He's also got a cajon, which is this like box thing.
Yeah,
it's like a slap box.
I got one of those.
They're very cool.
They're proper fun. Yeah, so easy.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I like the idea of playing around with individual instruments and rapping against them. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
In that in that competitive vein of things.
Well, yeah, like like there is a competitive edge to it, but it's also like experimentation. It's kind of pushing the boundaries of what you thought was inside your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like experimenting with something different in that sense almost.
Yeah. Experimenting's fun.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the spice of life, really, isn't it? Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's just like generally speaking, what's next for you as an artist, my guy? What's your goal, and how far are you looking to take this thing?
I want to do more features, like in the coming year.
Working with other artists.
Yeah. I want to do that a lot more. As a matter of challenging myself, and as a matter of developing the sound. Yeah. On both fronts, I want to work with more people, and it's not hard. Like where I am in London, it's kind of you'll find. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like we're kind of a bit out of the way here, aren't we? But when you're in that, it's kind of like, you know, the sort of networking that you can get from, like, you know. That's why I enjoy tapping into it. Personally, I don't think I could live there. It's a bit too chaotic for me. My first girlfriend was from London, so I've like spent a lot of time in London. But it's one of them places. It's a beautiful place. It's a very cool place. I don't think I could live there personally because I like, you know, I like my peace and quiet.
Yeah.
But
you're normal.
It is necessary though for, like, especially doing music, to be able to tap into it. And like do that whole like networking thing, and like you just meet so many people there.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, just like you said, like with your producer and your label, you found someone who's like doing the exact same thing as you, who's got the same vision, and it's like, I don't know, in the UK at least, I don't know anywhere else in the country where like that would happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Proper melting pot. Proper international hub of music. Having worked with the label, I've met a lot of foreign musicians, a lot more. They all talk massively about London and how London's like the mecca of it all. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
In terms of like the British scene, it's like, yeah.
No, these are international people. These people from the Middle East.
Oh, for real, man.
Yeah. People from North Africa and stuff.
Thought it'd have been like California or New York.
Yeah.
Mecca, but like that's great. Yeah, I feel like we don't realise how lucky we are until you sort of like speak to people who are like outside of that, and they're like, no, like London's the place to be, and we don't realise how lucky we've got having that on our doorstep. In a sense, you know.
Yeah, and then you ask them what it's like living here, and it's like, oh my god, how do you do it? How do you like? Yeah, London's a lot.
I kind of find like London and obviously like Britain and America are like culturally like very different, but I find London similar in certain ways to like New York, actually. So like if you look at like California, for example, like if you've not got a car, you're fucked. Basically. Like, you know, because everything's so spread out, like you need to be driving places. But also I find it makes, just from my personal observations on it, you know, like anyone who wants to disagree, I don't want to, you know, offend anyone with this or whatever. But like, you know, when you look at like California in that sense, like say you're some executive who works in, you know, Hollywood or Los Angeles or whatever, you know, you can drive past like Compton. You never have to even look at the place. You never even have to go there. You don't even have to know it exists. Yeah. Whereas like in New York, it's completely different. It's like, you know, it's similar to London in that sense. Big melting pot. Like whether you're like, you know, there's some like working class guy going to his blue collar job or some multi-million-pound executive. You're all getting the subway. You're all getting the train together. And I find it makes it harder to like hate the lady in the burqa or the Jewish guy wearing, you know, what little hats they wear,
the kippahs, I think.
Yeah. Like it's harder to hate people who are different to you when it's like they're the same people you get in the train with to and from work every day. Do you know what I mean? I think London's very similar to that in that sense. It's this big like melting pot. Everyone's on top of each other. Like, you know, we're all on different paths, but we're all going the same way.
Yeah,
and you're getting a bit poetic with it there, but you know.
No. It makes it. It's giving everyone the same common enemy, and then suddenly we're all friends because we've got this thing that we don't enjoy together.
Yeah.
It's hard living here, isn't it? Yeah. Like it becomes a conversation.
Like, I think there's like.
It could also be the weather.
Yeah, that's
the original one
as well. Yeah, we're all fighting the same thing. But like, what do you call it? I think there's like, Like maybe this is kind of a thing about like me, where I've got a different outlook on life as I'm sort of like getting older. I think I used to be a bit of a hippie. I used to be very much, like peace and love, man. We are all one. We are all one to a degree, but I think it's also quite naive to think that there's only one type of human experience, right?
Yeah.
So like you, I can tell you and me, for example, are very similar in a lot of ways. But like you having 9 siblings, me being an only child, there's certain things that like we have had different life experiences and different worldviews, and like there's certain things that you've experienced that I could never possibly understand, and vice versa, right? And like that's a beautiful thing. I think people's differences should be celebrated.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But like going back to the idea you touched on, we've all got these vastly different life experiences or whatever. But that's the one thing that unites people is like for thousands of years, whoever you are, whatever you look like, governments have fucked with people's lives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're all fighting the same fucking system.
Yeah.
Without going too much into it one way or the other, but you get what I'm saying. Like we're all fighting against the same enemy in a sense.
And only 2 things are guaranteed: death and taxes.
You're damn fucking right.
Yeah.
The government wants its tea money, bro. Yeah, it wants its peas, bro. So yeah, sorry, we got a bit curb-tailed there. So yeah, like, what's the sort of like end goal? Like, you know, how far do you want to take the project and the dream? I guess.
I want the crown. I want to be the best rapper ever. However long that takes, it will take that long. I don't see myself putting down the mic. I can't picture a retirement from an art that was always a hobby and still is.
Yeah, 100%. It's about the passion.
Yeah. I don't think I'd retire coaching football either. Like, I'll probably still be doing that basically until I stop loving it, which will probably be never. So,
and like the day we stop is like the day that we, you know, like a human without purpose is like a pretty miserable fucker, really.
Yeah.
We need purpose in our lives,
Yeah.
and it's that kind of stuff that, like, that's what gets you going, in it. It's what gets the motor running, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, is there like what kind of stages do you have the ambition to perform on? What kind of like you mentioned about doing features. Is there any artists that you'd love to do a feature for in particular?
Did you see Karina when you came to LD and RBS?
Karina,
singer.
What, the Wembley one?
Yeah, I can't remember if she was there. But Karina is someone I'd like to work with. Roms is someone I'd like to work with. These are all people on my circuit. That's it for now. Obviously, me and Olivier's song is coming out just after New Year's, I reckon. So that'll be quite cool as well. Yeah, off the top of my head, those two, definitely. Roms and Karina.
Yeah, they're at the forefront.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, for sure. And then, like any particular festivals that you'd enjoy performing
No,
at?
you know, I grew up hearing people say I want to perform at this place and this place and that place. No, not particularly. Wembley, but
if man's getting booked, man's getting
booked. I don't mind what stage it is. I'd like the next one to be bigger than the last one. Other than that, I don't mind where.
A couple of my guys went to a festival just over the summer, and it was a more like little. Like, it's a big festival. I think there's something like 75,000-80,000 people show up to it. But there's like a lot of like independent artists on there, and like they were giving platforms like up and coming people. It's called Green Man Festival.
Okay.
Have you seen Burning Man in America, where they burn the dude?
Yeah.
It's like our version of that, and it's in like Wales.
But they paint him green.
Yeah, but he's green, and it's all like environmental stuff and yada yada yada, all that stuff going on. But like it were, I think when you come into like Glastonbury and Leeds Fest and these things, it's like it's a bit more accessible for up and coming artists to sort of like get booked on that ostensibly. So that might be something worth looking into.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, Green Man, bro. But we'll end on this and we'll start wrapping it up. But where can people find your social media and listen to your music?
Yeah, socials is awadh.mp3. So AWADH.mp3. And that's all
all the socials. I'm only on TikTok and Instagram.
What was the .mp3? That's quite funny.
Oh, because I'm pretty sure Awadh was taken, basically.
.mp3.
Yeah.
That's great.
I bet I'm related to that other Awadh. There's like 4 Awadhs in my family. Never checked. I probably should have checked. Shit, thinking of that out loud. But yeah, Awadh.mp3 and you'll find me online.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, keep an eye out for his stuff. He's doing some pretty interesting bits and bobs that I want. I would recommend people keeping an eye out for. So look him up. And it's been a pleasure to have you on. We're reaching over a bit, but come pop down again. Pop down anytime, bro. You're welcome. Welcome up whenever, bro.
Wicked. Thanks,
man.
John.
Right, thank you everyone for tuning in once again. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hate to have to remind people again, but like, subscribe. It's it seems like a little bit, but it goes a long way. And I hope you've enjoyed the interview and the live session today. We will catch you on the next one. Peace out.